I don't think that this gun needs much of an introduction. Israeli Weapon Industries TAVOR X95. Well, I'll tell you what, from the get-go, I've never been a real big fan of the bullpup, with the exception of the SAUER AUG. I thought that, you know, that weapon was pretty impressive, and any other bullpup past that was pretty much trying to reinvent the wheel. Shooting this is kind of making me change my mind. And I don't say that lightly. The first iteration of the TAVOR, I thought was, at the end of the day, just a pretty clunky weapon with a pretty clunky trigger. With the bullpup design, you know, you have a 16-inch barrel, and, you know, your action is actually back here in the buttstock. So, you know, when you're trying to activate this trigger, you have a bunch of mechanisms that are working, you know, fore to aft. And because you have so many moving parts, you know, you get this trigger that just isn't really crisp. With this model, the X95, the trigger's really crisp. You have a nice reset. You know, it'll come right to the wall on the 2-stage trigger, and, you know, you get a really nice response. It doesn't feel like a bullpup. Initially, you know, the trigger wasn't something that I was focusing on, because this gun's really beefy. There's a lot of weight to this. You would think with, you know, a predominantly polymer weapon that you would have, you know, like this ultra lightweight Tupperware plasticky kind of feel to it, but you don't. You have a lot of quality with this, and you can feel it. I'd like to regress, you know, and go back to the trigger and to the controls. With the SAUER AUG, in order to release the magazine, when you're doing a magazine exchange, you had this little button here that you had to release to get the magazine out. With this particular weapon, you don't have that. You know, what they have right here was the bolt release. As you can see, like it had slapped forward. So in order to release a magazine, it's just like the AR-15. The button's right here, and it is ambidextrous. If I turn the weapon around for the lefties, you can release the magazine here. So everything's real user friendly with that. So if you're up on gun and you're shooting and the magazine runs dry, your weapon's dry, you know, you press this button here, magazine falls out, boom. And then you can come, you know, back into battery and get back into position relatively easy. So, you know, the Israelis really overcame one of the big problems, you know, with the bullpup. And again, I'm going to say that's one of the second problems they overcome. I'm still stuck on how they did this trigger. It's an amazing trigger. You have a really good trigger. The engineers overcame that ridiculous way to get the magazine out where that the SAUER AUG, you know, was designed into. So those two things, you know, I noticed really quickly. One of the things that I'm kind of disappointed in was the fact that they didn't have an ambidextrous selector switch or safety switch. It's only on one side, and I'm going to switch it over here. As you can see, it's not on this side. And for a weapon that they really went out of their way to make it truly ambidextrous, and that would include, you know, the bolt ejection port. For righties, it's here, and then you can switch it over for lefties there. You know, I don't understand why they wouldn't have just, you know, built in that ambidextrous selector switch. As you can see, you know, even the way that it's designed, it wouldn't have been a real difficult or costly engineering feat in order to have that on both sides. You have your charging handle here, but you can, you know, you could switch it and put it over here. You know, this is, you know, a piston system, not direct impingement naturally. So you have a you know, pretty reliable system here, and you have all the positives that you would in a bullpup. Naturally, having a 16-inch barrel in a weapon that is, you know, significantly smaller than, you know, the traditional engineering buildup of a military grade rifle. So you're saving a lot of space. With that, this would be really good for police work. As you can see, you know, getting in and out of a car, or you know, working in close quarter battle situation, you don't have that, you know, that barrel that's going to be way out there where you have to worry about smacking into things. You can operate this weapon in those conditions. So, you know, this design is really good for those purposes. Naturally, it's battle proven. You know, the Israelis have been fielding these for years. So as far as reliability is concerned, you know, you're not going to have any issues there. You have a nice pick rail system up top, you know, to put on all of your all the accoutrements that you like, you know, aiming devices, flashlights, etc., etc. The other thing is that you can change this grip module. If you don't like this futuristic guard design, you can actually put a one on that would give you the traditional trigger guard, which would only attach to here, and then this would disappear. As far as overall quality, exactly what you would expect from Israeli weapons industries. They did a really good job. They're located in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. That would be their point of contact. So you would get, you know, a reliable network of parts, replacement parts, and any type of service that you would have. I really like it. Like I said, I'm not a real big fan of the bullpup. I would always stick to the Steyr AUG. I think I did a small video on that a couple months ago. And I just wasn't a fan of the other bullpups, like the British bullpup, the French FAMAS. You know, every iteration of a military bullpup that had come out past the AUG was just a subpar or substandard weapon. And I think that the Israelis changed my mind on this. And if you're not a big fan of bullpups and you have a chance to pick one up and shoot it, I think that it's probably going to change your mind as well. So with that said, I am going to get back to the range and try to shoot this puppy a little more. All right, guys, thanks for checking in. See you guys at the range.